Hi everyone. I started to realize that the live videos glitch at exactly 4 seconds in. So I thought that I would avoid that by starting the video with a little bit of sound, a little bit of sound healing. So this is my root chakra bowl. So the sound of the root chakra bowl helps to ground us and bring us into the present moment. So I hope you enjoyed that sound. So I have so much to talk about in this live video today. I've made a few notes that I might refer to, but I always make notes, but I always end up just speaking from the heart. I have made a series of videos already in the lead up to this eclipse, which is happening on Saturday night. The eclipse is a partial solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. I said Saturday night, I'm actually not quite sure what time of the day it's happening. It's happening on Saturday the 30th. So this is really a big deal, and I'm feeling into the energy of it, and I'm feeling that this is a massive portal and a massive opportunity for us to shift our relationship to abundance and money. Taurus is one of the money signs of the zodiac. Taurus and Cancer are the two money signs of the zodiac. Now, I actually wrote a post last week which had a lot of engagement, and it really seemed to resonate with people, and it was about imagining a world with no money. And I very much believe that that's a possibility, because at the end of the day, money is really just representative of an energy. It's representative of an energy of exchange. And at the moment we have this physical energy, this physical thing of money. But I believe that when humanity has evolved to a certain level, we will no longer need money. We will simply be exchanging our energy, our services, our ideas, and we'll be co-creating a world without the need for money. But what I wanted to talk about in this video today are all of the issues that affect our relationship to money and our ability to manifest abundance and attract abundance into our lives. So I think that the title that I had given the video when I put up the post was Abundance, Generational Curses, and Self-Worth. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of those things today. I have a lot to talk about. So I want to talk about the relationship between money, abundance, and self-worth. So self-worth is inextricably linked to money issues and abundance. So I want to talk about the fact that, and this is specifically related to women, I'm going to focus mainly on women because I think mainly women are affected by this. It's not to say that men aren't affected, but women are especially affected. And this is a subject that I'm very passionate about. So for millennia, women have been cut off from their ability to be financially independent and to create and generate abundance and freedom for themselves. And this is because, and humanity in general have, but I'm specifically talking about women here. This is to do with how society has been set up and the patriarchy. And I'm going to talk about patriarchal religions and just the institution of marriage and how society is set up. And it's set up in such a way that for millennia, I know this is changing, but for millennia and down through many generations, society, money, the whole financial world, all of the structures have all been in the hands of men. And women's role for many generations was reduced to that of a baby making machine or a housemaid. Okay, so it's just really ironic because this is a 3D matrix that we're living in where everything is inverted, because the money of the energy of safety, security, provision, pleasure, abundance, and creativity is actually a deeply feminine energy. This is connected, if we think of the lower two chakras, the root chakra and the sacral chakra, they're governed by the feminine elements of water and earth. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the two money signs of the zodiac are Taurus and Cancer. Again, Taurus an earth sign, Cancer a water sign, both feminine signs. So the energy of money and abundance and self-worth and pleasure and creativity and provision and safety and security are inherently feminine qualities and energies. But this has been inverted. In the 3D matrix, everything is inverted. So women have been cut off from this energy very much. And let's think about how that again has happened. I'm thinking about the energy of self-worth. I talked earlier about how women's role was denigrated, so that women were no longer leaders in society. They were no longer able to make decisions in society. We think back to before even women were given the vote. And this is really in the past 2 millennia, because if we go back way back before that, many societies were actually matriarchal, where women were the decision makers and were in power. And there were other times when men and women were both equally valued and both equally had equal power. But for the last 2 millennia, that's not the case. So women's self-worth has been denigrated. And when self-worth is denigrated, that leads to blockages in the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is the chakra that is associated with pleasure and creativity and abundance and self-worth. Okay, so I'm going to think even more, I'm going to talk more about how religion has contributed to this, because I'm thinking about the guilt that has been associated with the sexual energy and the sexual life force, which is the creative life force, and how this has been again suppressed and has been controlled through guilt. And that also can disconnect us from our creativity. And we think about generating abundance. A lot of that comes from having our access to our creative energy, because it's through our creative energy that we create the life of our dreams, that we create products and services that benefit others, and that then we can earn an income from as well. So I'm going to tell a little story, actually a personal story that relates to me, because I'm talking about how this can get passed down through generations. Because you might be thinking, well, that's not the case anymore. You know, we have equal opportunities now. Women have the vote. Women have equal power and equal rights, and nearly in the workplace or whatever. It's not really equal yet, but you know, we're heading in the right direction. And you know, we've grown up in a generation where women have had equal access to education, etc. But things haven't really changed an awful lot when we move on in life and it gets to the stage of having families, and children come along and women give up their careers, and then they must again get disconnected, because we haven't really yet reached the stage where men and women are taking equal responsibility for raising families. So women again then find themselves in a situation of being dependent and being cut off from their ability to create abundance. Often this is the case. But I want to talk about how the fact that if we just go back 1 or 2 generations in our family, we can see how the women in our family were living very different lives to us. And whenever we have had people in our family, going back generations, who have experienced extreme hardship or poverty or very, very difficult life situations, where they have developed a mindset or beliefs or emotions around money and their belief in their ability to have freedom and abundance and create the life of their dreams, when that has been blocked and it hasn't been healed, that energy gets passed down from one generation to another. It actually gets stored within our genetic material and passed down through our DNA. So even if we have grown up in a situation where it seems that we've had equal rights, we are carrying the energy from past generations and we hold it within our bodies. And it's like a generational curse. And I actually have been doing some really deep work on this myself over the weekend. I could feel this coming up. As I went deep into meditation with it, this is what I was being told that it was. It was a generational curse that was being brought up to the surface to be healed and released. And as the energy on the planet is rising and the frequency is rising, anything that is not in the light, anything that is in darkness is coming up to be seen and dealt with and healed and released. And that can be really, really difficult to do. It's very, very challenging. And people who are healers or light workers or very, very in tune and masters of energy are often given the task of clearing this generational karma or trauma or limitations. So that work often falls on those people to do that, to then create a new pathway for the future generations to come through and have a completely different experience. So that's the work that I was doing energetically over the weekend. But I said I was going to tell you a little story just to highlight this point. So I have a psychic counsellor, a psychic medium who I attend regularly. I don't have the ability to connect with past souls, the mediumship, although that does run in the family. I have a cousin who is an amazing psychic medium, but I have this psychic medium who I attend on a regular basis. And the first time I went to her, we discussed lots of things, and she was able to give me lots of information because I've been very interested in healing generational trauma. And she was helping me to do this by making me more aware. So all the information that she gave me, I was able to validate. It was all really relevant. I could tell straight away who the souls were that she was communicating and what they were talking about and how it was relevant to me. But she kept referring to a story, and it was related to my grandmother. I would have called her my granny, and I absolutely loved my granny, and she was my father's mother, and she's the only real grandparent that I knew as an adult and had a good relationship with. And I always enjoyed going to her house, and she was so warm and nurturing and funny as well, is something I would say about her. So she often comes through in psychic readings, so I know that she's with me and she's looking out for me, and she's been trying to communicate with me. And something that the medium kept saying to me was, your granny's telling me this. She keeps talking about a house. She keeps talking about a house in the family that went to somebody else when it was meant to go to her. And there was a big dispute in the family, and there was a row in the family about it, and she's bringing it up as that it's very important. And I had never heard of this story before. I'd never heard of any argument in the family, any arguments over property or anything like that. So I let it go, thought no more of it. And when I went back for my next appointment, the medium brought it up again, and my granny was there again, and she was saying she keeps talking about this house, and she keeps talking about that the house was meant to go to somebody, went to somebody else, and there was this big argument, and it's very important. So after that, I thought, well, there's obviously something in this. There's something that I need to understand about what has happened here. So I went back and I did a little bit of digging, and I spoke to my father, and I told him all of the things that the psychic had said to me. And I said, but it's this really strange. He keeps referring to this story about a house and some sort of dispute over property and an argument within the family and a rift within the family. And my dad said straight away, yes, I know what that is. And I said, God, this, why have I not heard of this before? And so he told me the story, and the story was that my granny had grown up in a house. I think there were 4 of them in the house, in the family. And as an adult, my granny my dad would have told me the story, how she was such a generous person and kind and caring and nurturing. And every night she would have made the dinner for her own family. She would have made an extra dinner for her mother. She didn't have any transport of her own. She didn't drive, so she would have gone on a bus every evening with the plate in her hand with the dinner and delivered it to her mother and spent some time with her, and then gone back home on the bus. So this was a massive commitment and act of kindness that she was carrying out. But something happened within the family. It came that the house that my great grandmother was living in was a council house. And there was a scheme back then, many of you might have been aware of it, where people were given the opportunity to buy their houses that were council houses at a very low cost. And this had happened. But what happened was that my great grandmother sold the house, allowed my grandmother's brother to buy the house behind my grandmother's back. There was no discussion within the family about who would be allowed to buy the house. This man already owned a house of his own. He had a house of his own. He had his own family. My grandmother didn't have her own house. She was living in rented accommodation actually above a paint shop, my granny and granddad. So the opportunity had come up for the family home to be bought at a very low price, and she was not even given the choice. She wasn't even told about the opportunity. It was straight away given to the son because he was the eldest male in the family. My grandmother was the eldest child in the family, but the opportunity was given to the son because he was a male. So eventually my grandmother found out about what had happened, and it caused a huge rift in the family, and two sets of siblings split ways. One sided with the man who had got the house, and the other sibling sided with my granny, and as far as I know they never spoke to each other again. So this really started to make sense to me now why this was important, because this had caused a massive sense of betrayal. And if you think about the impact that has on somebody's sense of self-worth. So how many families has that happened within, where the men have been given the opportunities and the women have been cast aside, and the women's self-worth has been completely denigrated? So this has caused huge blockages within the sacral chakra, and these blockages have been passed down from one generation to the next. So this is really important, and it's really important that we're aware of this. As women, we need to be working actively to heal these generational wounds that we may be carrying within our wombs, within our sacral chakra, that we don't even know about, caused by this patriarchal societal conditioning. And I'm sure my great-grandmother didn't mean any harm. She was acting from the conditioning that she had, that this was the right way to do things. So it's up to us now to break these curses and to release these blockages. And we have to do it on an energetic level, because you can be working away, you can be working and working and working and going around in circles and not still able to attract abundance. The work has to be done on an energetic level. There has to be energetic clearing done. This is all to do with us creating our energy field and creating a healthy energy field, and an energy field that is vibrating at the frequency of abundance and pleasure and creativity and freedom. And that is done through reprogramming our subconscious minds and our emotions and our beliefs around what's possible for us, what we're going to be able to create in our lives: abundance, freedom, pleasure, ease, flow, all of this. It all has to start at an energetic level. So I'm just going to refer to my notes to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Yes, I wanted to refer to a video that I made a few weeks ago. You might want to go back and look at it, and it was about feminine archetypes. And we were talking about the false feminine and the true feminine, and the false feminine being the energy of the maid, the servant, the princess. So that's somebody, if we think again about the sacral chakra, a healthy sacral chakra is connected with the Empress energy. An unhealthy sacral chakra is the servant energy, the martyr. So this false feminine energy is very much connected with having these blocked lower chakras. The princess is somebody who's completely dependent on somebody to rescue her because she doesn't have personal power. That would be a blocked solar plexus. Could be a blocked root chakra as well, because it's the victim consciousness. So this victim mentality, this servant mentality, this martyr mentality, this is all caused by blockages in the lower three chakras, either from conditioning in our own lives through childhood or through actual DNA and energetic blockages that have been passed on to us from our ancestors. The true feminine archetypes are the Empress and the Queen and the Priestess. And those are the archetypes that we can embody whenever these blockages are released and when our chakras are fully functional and balanced. And we're the healthy root chakra is the mother, self-sufficient, nurturing. The healthy sacral chakra is the Empress, somebody who's able to enjoy the pleasure of life, who's able to receive, who is connected with their self-worth and their creativity and abundance. The High Priestess is somebody whose third eye is activated and they're able to access their psychic abilities, again, which has been shut down by the patriarchal religions in order to keep control over us. So all of this energy has been suppressed for a reason. And again, this brings me on to the idea and the concept that there is enough wealth and abundance for everybody, for all of humanity to live in abundance. But what has happened is that wealth and abundance has been kept in the hands of a very small group of elite people who understand how energy works and have used this actually against humanity to manipulate and suppress and keep the power within the hands of very few. So this is work I'm really, really interested in doing. I'm going to be running many retreats and courses and workshops and events over the next few months. I also do one-to-one sessions. So if this is really resonating with you, if it's calling to you, please do feel free to get in touch to work with me on a one-to-one basis or to come along to any of my events or retreats or workshops or courses, and I'd be delighted to work with you. So this weekend we have the eclipse in Taurus, and this is an opportunity for us to have a massive shift in our relationship to abundance and wealth and money and security and all of the things that we need, the practical things in life that we need as a foundation to create the life of our dreams. So I hope that this video has started to get the cogs turning in your mind about how this could be affecting you and to start getting curious about what we can do about it. So I'm going to actually finish with a beautiful mantra. I have it written here and I've just jotted it down because it's a beautiful affirmation. I'm going to play my root chakra bowl one last time and I'm going to leave you with the affirmation. So if you want to just close your eyes for the next few moments and listen to the words and listen to the sound and take this opportunity to start the process of programming your mind with healthy and life-affirming beliefs. I am a magnet towards abundance. I am committed to my I love myself unconditionally. I am mentally and physically healthy. I am aligned with my soul purpose. I am confident in my individuality. I inspire and empower myself and others. I attract infinite success and wealth. I give and receive love and affection. My consciousness is continuously growing. I am surrounded by loving and supportive people. All of my dreams are coming to fruition. I hope that this has been helpful. Please let me know. Feel free to comment below if this has resonated with you. And I'll see you back here again soon.